Hey guys, it's Numa, and we're gonna be talking about the Samurai Showdown collab. This video is kind of late, and y'all have already probably spun the egg machine already. So this video will be more based on what you can do with all the characters you got, and all the duplicates you would have gotten from like the 5 stars. Just noting though, this is an amazing gacha for only being 6 gems. It's a complete steal. So make sure you spend all your gems on it, really. All of it. Cause every single character, like even the 5 stars in this gacha, are amazing in their own way. So let's get into it. Starting off with Haomaru, pre-evolution isn't amazingly strong. He has an easy to use leader skill for new players, but it's not that powerful. It lacks damage, reducing ability, and it has pretty mediocre HP and recovery boost. Like it only multiplies about 1.5 times. He's a pretty good sub, being able to completely block jammers, and he has pretty good damage output, but it's not really like necessary to have. There's not many parties where you need to have Haomaru in it. Post-evolution Haomaru though is the first light attribute auto FUA character with the true 50,000 damage. His issues though, he has pretty low survivability, he doesn't have great HP and recovery boost, and he doesn't have a damage reducing ability. You'll probably be matching him with Tifa, so you'll probably be fine with healing, but you'll have trouble surviving attacks in the alternate arenas. Like characters like Goemon will usually one-shot you if you don't have like the damage reducing skills on one of your subs, or if you don't like boost your HP by a bunch with your awakenings with weapons. Still, he has a pretty good skill with a tricolor board, and with one of the colors being heal orbs, so he's not a bad leader or a sub. Or no, he's not a good sub. He has pretty bad awakenings. So yeah, you wouldn't be using him as a sub, but he's a pretty good leader, and he's pretty good for farming too, so it's pretty good to have him. The weapon evolution is a 2-1-1 weapon, so if you wanted to spin the Fist of the North Star collab just for the weapons, then I'd say don't and spin this collab. Like I said in the Fist of the North Star collab video, 2-1-1s aren't as good as 2-2s, but that doesn't make this weapon weak. It has better combos than the Fist of the North Star character weapons because it has 2 jammer blocks, and you can make combos like 2 Haomaru weapons and 1 Eris weapon to make a 4-4-4 resistance by only using 3 spaces. The weapon also has an HP enhance, so it has more value. It keeps its post-evolution skill, so if it's a fire-light team like Tifa's, it can be super powerful. And if the post-evolution Haomaru gets stale, you can always just evolve it into the weapon, so it's powerful for much longer. If you're aiming for this character, I'd say maybe get 2 of them, or try to get 2, so you can have 1 for the post-evolution and the weapon. Next up is Ukyo Tachibana. Pre-evolution, he's a pretty decent leader. He's pretty similar to Barbara and Julie, except he gains more versatility because you don't have to clear both fire and water. But in the current meta, this isn't that impressive. He also has similar awakenings with Barbara and Julie with a bunch of killers. You can combo the Velkhana to get a pretty good combo, but that's really it. He's not really like exceptionally powerful. Post-evolution, he's a pretty decent sub, and he can also boost the party's HP, but he's really just a weaker Amatsu from the Monster Hunter collab. His skills are also pretty weak, and his leader skills a little too difficult to use to be viable because you need 8 combos to use all the time. Nakoru pre-evolution is a pretty decent support character as his skill heals bind and awaken bind, but other than that, she's not a great leader and she has pretty low damage output, so you won't be really using her. Post-evolution, she's amazing for farming. She's all that you really need as your skill has a breadth with the 250 times attack, as well as make a full board of fire orbs. Even more, she has 4 skill boosts as an awakening and has a 7x6 board with a 12 times damage multiplier. She's a superb farming character. If you want to use her normally, you can use her with Raoh as a friend leader and get a pretty decent party actually. You can put the Kuroyuri loop inside her party too to make it a little bit more viable. The weapon is also pretty good, mostly because it keeps that amazing skill, and the awakenings are pretty decent for situations because it boosts your damage. The fire resistance might also be helpful too for characters like Goemon, with like super powerful initial attacks. If you like farming a lot, you might want to get a lot of her, like maybe 3 of her. And if not, her weapon's still useful if you get her. Yoshamaru Kuruma pre-evolution is a pretty decent character. For his awakenings, he has a bunch of 50% or less enhances, and he has an immobility resistance. And he's one of the few wood characters in the game that have the half HP and 50% less stuff. He's like Riser from the Gunko collab. So he has some potential. Post-evolution though, he's super powerful. He has pretty good awakenings, being able to do good damage and having cloud resistance. He can also put a DVP on his super awakening, or extend control time with his super awakening. What's really powerful though is his skill. He can completely heal, bind, and awaken status, and clear one of the most annoying gimmicks in the game, the unmatchable orb status. The drop replays might be a little annoying sometimes when you have a good board, but it can also help you. His leader skill is a unique, fun one to use, because you can throw out massive damage, but also control his damage if you clear less orbs. As a sub, he's a complete replacement to Odin Dragon for wood parties. This weapon is also one of the best in the gacha, as he keeps his post-evolution skill and also becomes the 3rd leader in the NA version of the game to have 3 gem resistance as a weapon. It's also pretty powerful that he has the 50 lesser enhanced skill or awakening, so it can double the damage of the user if the HP is less than 50. I'd want to get like 2 of this character so I can get 1 for the post-evolution and 1 for the weapon. Genjuro Kiwagami pre-evolution, his awakenings are pretty good with 3 7Cs, and his skill is pretty decent. His leader skill is also super unique and being able to send out a 40 multiplier, but it's super hard. It has a super hard requisite, so he might be good for some ranking dungeons when you use a skill like Sonia's to clear a bunch of dark orbs to send out massive damage. Post-evolution though is much more powerful. Because the skill boost plus counts as technically 2 skill boosts, and the jammer block counts as 5 jammer blocks, he basically has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 2 more if you count the bind resistance plus on his super awakening. So 17 awakenings, and 3 of those are DVPs, and 1 of those can completely block jammers. His skill's pretty decent, and his leader skill is pretty mad powerful with Ina. The only problem with it is though, you have to be over 80 HP to have the damage sent at you. So characters like Goemon is kind of scary because yeah, he's a multi-hit character. His weapon's not too powerful, so don't really aim to get it. And I'd say try to get at least 1 of this character just for the post-evolution. Next up, Shiki pre-evolution. This character has a blind resistant plus, but that's all she has going for her. There's nothing else that's really special about her. Post-evolution, she has a pretty good awakenings, a decent skill, and for her leader skill, you need to clear 4 attributes as well as clear an L shape, but you get the 50,000 true damage after. This leader skill is pretty terrible, to be honest. It doesn't solve the only weakness of multi-attribute leaders, which is DVP, and it makes it even harder to make a DVP by needing to make an L shape. This weapon is probably the best part of this character. It has a skill boost and an L shape, so it's gonna be pretty good for ranking dungeons. So if you get this character, you can either make it into this weapon, but if you don't want the weapon or don't play ranking dungeons, then I just say trade her in for a better character. Next up, the 5 stars. Starting off with the confirmed gacha character, Rimuru. Pre-evolution, she's a healer type destroyer, as she has 2 healer killers on her awakenings. You can put 1 as a super awakening, and you could put 3 as a latent awakening. She'd be useful for ranking dungeons and farming. We'll get back to her later though, about something else. Post-evolution, she has 3 skill boosts and a dungeon boost, so she's pretty good for farming. But that's not all, and this is gonna get a little bit confusing, but bear with me. If you get 2 of these characters, and make one the pre-evolution and the other a post-evolution, and make one of them your leader friend, And once a good 7x6 water attribute leader that can also act as a good sub comes out, then you can put that as your leader and put the other Rimuru as a sub and make her inherit a leader change skill. So during a dungeon, you can change your leader into Rimuru, making a 7x6 Rimuru loop party. This means you can change every single poison orb that appears on your board into a water orb. So like in dungeons in the alternate arenas, there's a bunch of characters that make you drop more poison orbs. This character completely negates their ability and makes it help you instead. So it basically doubles the amount of water orbs you get every single turn. Alright, yeah, you guys do not understand how hard it was to take that one clip of me trying to explain that. But okay, her weapon is also pretty good. You can put it on characters like Zeta because it has the super bonus attack on it. And it also has the blind resistance as well as it has the L erasing character, that awakening. So it's pretty versatile in a lot of ways. I'd say try to get 3 of her if you can, so you can make 1 of each one of her. She's basically a 6-star character. She's amazing. TomTom pre-evolution isn't too useful, except for a skill which you can basically loop a damage resistance every single turn. Post-evolution, he has some killers, but his Super Awakenings killers are pretty bad, so he's not too useful. His weapon is a pretty good multiplayer boost weapon, which in itself is pretty hard to get in the game, so it's pretty decent. So I'd say try to get 1 or 2 of this character just for the weapon. Yoshito Tokugawa, pre-evolution, he's kinda a good support character, and he has some damage output, but I wouldn't really say you really need him, so skip. Post-evolution is pretty good as he has 3 skill boosts and a short skill, so you can inherit any breath skill you want, so you can easily and quickly clear a dungeon. I'd say have at least 4 to 5 of him for farming. His weapon is pretty decent because it has the breath skill, but otherwise it's not too powerful. Alright, next up, Charlotte. Pre-evolution is not too good. She has 1 of everything on her awakenings, but she has pretty low damage output, so you really won't be using her. Post-evolution, she becomes a water row character, so she probably becomes even less useful. Her skill though, for both of the characters, it's pretty decent. It's a confirmed board where you can make a bonus attack in it too, because it creates a column of heal orbs. So it might be good for farming or ranking dungeons, but other than that, not amazing. Her weapon is pretty decent. You can use it in some scenarios, but it's just a worse Fatalist Blade. Maybe try to get 2, 1 for the weapon and 1 for the base character for the skill, but you don't really have to stress over it. Jubei Yagyu, his pre-evolution, his awakenings aren't super weak, but you really won't be using him too often. Post-evolution, you want this one if you want to farm dungeons, because he has a dungeon boost and his skill has a multi-hit true damage attack, so you can just spam. You can get a bunch of this character and just start spamming his skill, and you can clear some dungeons really easily. His weapon is pretty decent with his killers and drop enhance, but I don't know, it's decent. I'd say get a bunch of him so you can fill a whole party with him, or his subs as him, so you can just run through farmable dungeons, and maybe get 1 for the weapon for ranking dungeons. Alright, next up, Galford. Pre-evolution has pretty powerful awakenings with his killers, so you'll probably be using it for ranking dungeons. Yeah, his post-evolution, he's one of the few characters in the game with 5 80% or more enhances, so he might be useful in some ranking dungeons as a damage dealer. His weapon though, it's not all that powerful. It's a combo orb weapon, and it has kind of the status of the Great Witch weapons like Vedawa's weapon, so maybe try to get 1. I'd say try to get 5 of Galford so you can have 2 pre-evolution, 2 post-evolution, and 1 weapon. Hattori Hanzo pre-evolution is a pretty good sub. He can throw out a good amount of damage as well as cover some gimmicks. His skill is pretty decent, but his issue is that his status is really low, but that's kind of just a given because he's a 5-star. Post-evolution is not all that useful, maybe for farming, but pre-evolution is just much better. The weapon is a skill boost weapon. Remember, this is a 5-star character. If you don't play any ranking dungeons or farm, you may not know, but that's a potential of a top character in an egg machine. This skill is also super unique and pretty powerful. It's never a bad thing to have as many skill boost weapons as possible, so I'd say try to get as many as possible, maybe like 4 to 5 as weapons, and maybe 1 as a sub or as the base evolution. Ooh. I didn't get her because I don't really play my American version too much, but Gozen Shizuka, the dungeon character, pre-evolution, using her with Shishu Wakamaru, you can combo her skill with his to make a full board of dark orbs, so she's kinda useful for farming. Post-evolution, her skill is good for farming, and because she has a breath and a confirm board. For monster exchange characters, Kuroko, for being a monster exchange character, he has pretty good attack awakenings, so you might want to purchase them for ranking dungeons for these 2 killers, but yeah, not too useful. Game cartridge, it's a 1-turn self-damaging weapon, and it's kind of good for self-damaging leaders. Honestly though, it doesn't have too many uses, especially because the new Zerog is going to come out, so yeah, no. Being a 1-turn lock skill though might be good for ranking dungeons. But yeah, otherwise, it looks powerful, but it's not all that powerful, really. Alright, quick recap. If you haven't spent your magic stones yet, use it all on this. Haomaru, he's an S rank. His post-evolution is useful. He's a powerful leader with an auto FUA, but a better one may come out later because he's bad at surviving. But he has a very powerful weapon. Ukyo Tachibana, B rank. One of the worst 6-stars in the gacha. Either just make the weapon or trade it in for a better character. Yashimaru Kuruma, S rank. Post-evolution is very powerful. He's an amazing sub, and he's a replacement for Odin Dragon for wood parties. And he has a broken weapon. Nakaruru, A rank. Use the post-evolution. She's an amazing farming character, and her weapon is pretty good because she has the same skill. Genju Kibagami, S rank. Post-evolution is an amazing leader with Ina. He has basically 17 awakenings and he can block jammers. His weapon's not too useful. Shiki, C rank. She's the worst 6-star, trade her in. Nimururu, she's an A rank. She's a super powerful 5-star, and she's good for farming, ranking dungeons, and normal use. And she also has an amazing weapon for characters like Zeta. Rest of the 5-stars and the other characters like the dungeon and training characters, if you don't want to farm or play ranking dungeon, and you don't really care, yeah, don't worry about it. But if you do, they are super useful and you should have a lot of them. Don't sell them. Alright, thanks all for watching. So if you haven't put all your gems into this gacha, you should probably do it. When I say these characters are terrible, like the worst in the gacha, that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just they're bad compared to the other characters. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, maybe subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed your day. Nice.